What's up, guys? Got another new video here for you. This is Tuned In Sports, back with another football review, another week's NFL action, or at least partway. My name's Bryson.
I'm Bennett.
Steve.
I'm Don.
And as you notice, I've got a smile on my face tonight, mostly because the misery of the Eagles is not till tomorrow night. So, I just got to sit back, relax, enjoy my Sunday for a change, not have anything, potentially come in and screw it up, such as losing to the Cowboys. That's what Monday's for. So, a lot of people hate Mondays anyway, so I guess now I have a reason to. Now, anyways, with that being said, we did have 3 games on the channel today, all of which were very, very interesting, and many of them for different reasons. But, we're going to go ahead and hop into them and, get excited about talking about it. While the excitement is still high in the air before our balloons get deflated over here, we're going to go ahead and hop into the Bengals game. The Bengals had a wonderful performance on the road in Pittsburgh today, and take it away, Bennett. Have at it.
Oh, hell yeah. It feels so good to get a win in Pittsburgh. First time we've done it since 2015, so, that just shows you how dominant Pittsburgh has been at home against us. So, what a performance today. Just all around. Defense was great. Offense took advantage of the opportunities that were given to them. Jamar Chase catching that touchdown with like 38 seconds left on the clock to end the half. What a freaking catch that was. I mean, right in front of him, Burrow put it perfect. And, that's what we want to see from Chase is, this is what we were expecting from him, not what we saw in preseason. I love to see that he has proven the doubters wrong. And coming out here and just putting on a show every week to week, seems like. So, in terms of rookie wide receivers, he's, I believe, the first one since Randy Moss to have 4 TDs in the first 3 games. So, he's playing great. Defense, 4 sacks today.
Yeah. Great
pass rush, just getting to the quarterback, that's what we like to see. Also forced 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions. So,
just to cut in real quick, the end of Steelers' sack streak.
Yeah, that too.
You don't have to hear about that anymore every week.
No, right, and that's really the big story of it all was how the O-line held up today. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't expecting us to get out of there with no sacks given up. Pretty impressive, honestly. Just, again, as I said, all around, just great play. And, I'm feeling confident going into Thursday against Jacksonville after this performance for sure. That would be great for us to get started off 3-1. I'm really impressed today. Happy with the boys.
Very much so. With good reason to be. And like you said, that's Jamar Chase this is what you expect to see from him. He didn't drop passes in college. He was as solid as the day is long. So, he's returning to form, and his athleticism is starting to shine through like they thought it would. So, and because of the fact that him and Burrow's got some history there, I'm sure Joe's looking for him. Because they've had a good rapport in college and everything, so I'm sure it's a pretty easy transition to get him the ball. So very good sign today for the Bengals. I couldn't be happier for the fans. They've seen enough losing to the Steelers, to last a lifetime already. So it was nice to see them get a victory.
Yeah, I definitely agree. From what I saw of the game, which was not a ton, but I did see some of it, and from what I saw, it just looked like the the Bengals were, pretty dominant, especially on the defensive end. And eventually, with the Steelers, struggling on offense, and the defense being out on the field, like we've seen with the Broncos and some of these other teams, the Eagles, eventually the defense is going to start getting worn out. And, for the most part, I feel like the Bengals did everything that they needed to do today. Just were maybe not perfect, but just, consistent on each side of the ball and did what they needed to do to win in a hostile environment, as well as, they did a pretty good job of kind of quieting the crowd early because they got out to a decent lead pretty quick. And we're able to maintain that. So, I feel like that's the mark of the good teams because, as we've all seen on this channel with our teams and stuff, it's not uncommon for one of our teams to get out to a lead. As a matter of fact, last year it was pretty much a weekly thing for the Bengals. But how the game ended up finishing was generally not the way that it happened today. Usually they'd find themselves blowing it one way or another. Same with the Eagles, same with the Broncos, same with the Lions, which we'll get into that in a little bit. But nonetheless, it just great job by the Bengals. I feel like this was a big win for them, and really probably a big confidence booster. I'm not necessarily saying they needed it, but to start off your first division opponent with a win, especially when all off season you're probably hearing about, once you get in the division, good luck, you're going to finish fourth and all this other stuff. To come out the gate and get a win against the Steelers, who are one of the, expected favorites on the road. I don't know if you could ask for much better as a fan. And especially like you said, I mean, it's one thing how often do they beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, but to be honest with you, how often do they beat Pittsburgh, period? I mean, outside of last year when, at the end.
2 straight wins against them so far.
Well, yeah, but nonetheless, I mean, outside of those, it's been pretty brutal. It's been pretty brutal against Pittsburgh. Sure. So, but anyway, yeah, that's all I got to say about it. Good win for the Bengals. Like their uniforms today, and go get them on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say good win by the Bengals. They need to do what they needed to do. Steelers defense is rattled. T.J. Watt wasn't there. Nobody, they're missing players on defense. Ben's old. He's done. He's out there throwing interceptions to the other team. He's tripping over himself in his backfield. I mean, this guy is done. I mean, I don't see anything where he's going to come back and make some type of rejuvenation because there's no running game to speak of to even help him, and he's too old, and it's showing. Again, to have Pittsburgh lose 2 games at home, which never happens, I think they're pretty much going to put a fork in this team. I think they are put out the pasture. He's done. There's no more miracle. Now we'll see what Tomlin can do with his coaching ability, since everybody raved about how good of a coach he is. Now we'll see how he does without a quarterback moving forward, because I just don't see Big Ben doing anything at all. But tremendous job by the Bengals to do what they needed to do, get the W, and walk out of town.
Yeah, exactly. And with minimal injuries, right?
Well, two people went out. It was one of our offensive linemen. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, Reeve. But it sounds like his injury was minor. So I think he'll probably be back next week. At least I'm hoping. And then they also what's his name? Awuzie went out, but also his injury was also pretty minor from what I'm hearing. So again, hopefully both of them can return next week, because Awuzie especially, he's really shown out since he's been in a Bengals uniform. So, but yeah, happy with the boys, and we'll move on to the next game, I guess.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, up next we've got the Lions, who had a game against the Ravens today. Pretty much were they were behind for a little bit, got out to kind of a slow start, came back in the game, took the lead. The fans were going absolutely crazy. I mean, I can honestly say I think that's the most excited, rowdy crowd that I have seen in Detroit in a long time. When the Ravens were going down the field, at the end there, I mean, the fans were just so crazy for the Lions to finally take the lead and hopefully get their first win of the season. And, you know, it was looking pretty good for a while. And then, unfortunately, one thing led to another. And Justin Tucker, 66-yard field goal, bounced it off the upright and went in. And, you know, just unfortunate for the Lions. I can't honestly say I'm surprised. For one, it is the Lions. And for two, you know, Justin Tucker is, in my opinion, probably the best out there right now. So, you know, if anybody, let's just put it this way, if anybody was going to do it, I'm not surprised that it was him. But with that being said, you know, just really kind of took the sails out of everything that was going on. You could have heard a pin drop in the building when that went in, pretty much, because, you know, everybody was just deflated over that. And then I was hearing that they were, you know, booing the crap out of the Fords or something like that after the game. I don't know. But, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like they put out a good performance. Each of us on this table did not predict that the Lions would win this game, and many of us didn't think it was going to be very close. So, you know, the fact that they scratched tooth and nail, you know, that's a good showing for them, I feel like. Obviously, the way that it happened that they lost is very disappointing. I completely understand why, you know, somebody that's a big fan of the team would be super pissed or really, really, you know, disappointed with it. But at the end of the day, you got to take it for what it is. You played against a team that you weren't supposed to beat, took them to the final bell, and it really took everything in the kitchen sink for them to pull out a win. And so, you know, like I said, I feel like that was a good performance for the Lions. And, you know, then there was a controversy with the time clock and delay of game penalty and stuff like that, which, you know, I mean, I've seen those kind of things happen before. They always say, oh, well, you know, the referee has to look at this and then look at that and then look back to that, and then if it's still not snapped or something, then they call it, which in my opinion kind of defeats the purpose of even having it. Like, if they're going to do that, then what the hell is the difference? The way that it should be is when the clock hits 0, there should be like a beeper or something in their headpiece, like a and then they, you know, throw the flag. Because otherwise...
Or maybe when the clock hits 0, throw the flag.
No, I know,
I mean,
but...
you don't even need a buzzer. I mean, one of the guys' jobs has to be looking at a clock.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah. You would think, but I mean, like I said, I see it almost all the time. I mean, so many games where the clock goes down to 0 and then no flag gets thrown. So,
yeah,
I don't really...
Depends on who it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't really quite understand that whole thing, but, you know, to be completely honest with you, the other part of it is that it's one play doesn't necessarily decide the game. I mean, they had a 4th and 18, a couple plays right before that they gave up. You know, would have sealed the deal right there, and they gave up pretty much to a guy wide open. So, I mean, all I'm saying is they had opportunities to win without that having to happen, and, you know, just couldn't seal the deal, and then the refs didn't help matters with that delay game thing. So, unfortunate for the Lions. You know, just kind of feels like another Lions game for, well, if you've been following the channel, you understand, and if you've been a Lions fan for a period of time, I'm sure you're going home with a heavy heart tonight. But like I said, good performance overall, and hopefully you can bounce back next week.
Yeah, actually, I mean, from the snippets of the game that I got to see, it seemed like they were getting to Jackson quite a bit. like the defensive line was doing a pretty good job out there this week for the Lions, and I mean, to me it was showing quite a bit. He didn't throw all that great today, so. And I mean, Marquise Brown dropped like 5 catches that were like wide open. I mean, that didn't help things, but nonetheless, I mean, hey, I'm a Lions fan. I mean, you gotta just look at it from like what Bryson was saying. You know, walked in, played a team that you weren't supposed to beat, and nearly pulled out a win. So, unfortunate the way that they did lose, but hey, you know what? They overall looked pretty solid today. So, yeah, that's all I got to really say about it.
Yeah, with this game, tough one for the Lions again. With it was a Ravens, team that, it's like most everybody else, it sounds like recently, getting more depleted every week as we go.
Yeah.
But like you said, Hollywood Brown was the MVP for a while because he couldn't catch a wide open touchdown pass to save him. So that pretty much left the Lions into the game. The Lions took full advantage of it and great grit to get it there, and then took the lead right at the end. And then, as usual, a series of unfortunate events happen where they can't get the guy off the field on 4th down. They can't know how to read a clock correctly, and then the guy kicks a 66-yarder, bounces it off the crossbar, and then goes over. So again, it's just one of those myriads of the curse of Bobby Lane, showing up again. So hopefully we'll see what happens with him. But I think moving forward, it's a tough loss, but I think it's going to help him going down the road forward, either the coaching staff or the players that are going to be there.
Bad, you're up.
No comment. No, actually, honestly, this was a hard one to swallow. I mean, we were on the cusp of actually winning our first game. Very depressing loss, in my opinion. And this is why the fans are sitting there chanting, "Fire the Fords," or whatever the hell they're chanting. Is because they're tired of seeing losers and tired of watching losing football. And you can sit here and sugarcoat the shit all you want to about, yeah, we got change going on, we got this going on, and this and that. Bottom line is, at some point you got to win games. And when you have opportunities like today where you literally had the team in the grass, I mean, you were about to bite a kneecap off and give up a fucking 4th and whatever.
Yeah, 18 or whatever.
And give them 40 yards to put them in field goal range, which 66 yards usually isn't field goal range, but for today it was. And it's just typical stuff that happens. And, I do, however, really do like what is going on. I think we're playing better football than we were last year, even though we're not winning games yet. I do think there's some changes going on in the right direction. I think the team's going to be getting better. And I mean, we don't really have anybody you would consider to be all-stars on this team right now. So I mean, we're doing this with a bunch of guys that are probably second-string players on most clubs. So I mean, we're playing tough, and that's all we can ask for. It just would be nice to see some victories coming, and hopefully it will be in the near future. I can only imagine what it's going to look like with Dan Campbell. Just watching some of what I saw on the sidelines, when things were going well, he was fired up, man. He looked like he was ready to jump to the roof of the damn stadium, and grab on and, and do some amazing shit. So I just, like I said, it's just super depressing, and it just feels all too familiar to sit here and watch games being lost in the last seconds, especially in the fashion we lost this one, where you got some guy kicking a field goal from 66 yards. I mean, most times you're thinking, shit, he ain't going to kick it that far.
He's not even going to get it there.
Right. I'm thinking, that's what I was thinking. Before he hit it, I'm like, shit, there's no way. Prater wouldn't make it from there, I don't think. How was this guy going to
like I said, Prater has the record used to be the record at 64 in Denver.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm like,
Prater kicked one of those today, like some record-breaking kick today, and it got returned for a touchdown.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, it's like I was sitting there with the utmost confidence that
You got it.
that we were going to win our first game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but no. But then to have it hit the crossbar, so don't go over like without a doubt, just and then kick and go through. It's like, oh man, is it just? I was ready to slit my throat watching that. So again, very depressing. You know, like I said, I do feel like things are changing for the better, and I listened to the post-game conference with the coach, and you know, kind of heard what I thought I'd hear, but I did take away some of the things that he said, you know, and thought it was, you know, he kind of feels like they're just making mistakes, and it's costing them. He said the fourth down play was communication errors. Well, you can't have that. You cannot have it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's communication errors, that needs to be cleaned up.
Sure.
But, you know, it was nice to see, you know, the rookie linebacker from, what's his name? The rookie from Iowa.
I can't think of it.
I'm drawing a blank on his name, but from what I understand, he played really well, looked good. And then Mabin was out there today, and he looked good. So I mean, because we've gotten rid of players, and they're trying to trade the guy from the Patriots.
Jamie Collins.
Yeah, Jamie Collins is on. You know, he's already played his last game as a Detroit Lion. So, but that was another big area where, I mean, you don't just take a guy like that and not expect to see something going on, like, because he's a good player. He's one of the more consistent players that they've had, and he's led the team in tackles. So it's like there's another one where I'm sitting there scratching my head going, we're really getting rid of this guy? I mean, are we trying not to win games? Is the way I was looking at it. But, I mean, in all honesty, it's probably a great move because now you're getting Barnes in there. That's the kid I'm talking about. Barnes is in there now, and some of these younger guys are going to get a chance to play. And by the end of the season, I really do feel like this team is going to be much better. They're not going to be anywhere close to making a playoff, but by the end of the season, they're going to be pretty decent. And then if they can get, you know, they got a bunch of picks next year. So if they can make the draft work, then, you know, maybe we can start seeing some wins. But up until that time, I don't know. But anyway, that's just another depressing loss for Detroit, as far as I'm concerned. It's just all too familiar. It's an all too familiar sight, and that's why you know fans are still, you know, I don't necessarily agree with them. You know, I do think there is some stuff that's going on better than what it was, but at the same time, a loss is a loss. I don't give a flip if they would have lost 54-0. It's the same on the record, as even though we lost on a fluke field goal. But anyway, that's all I got to say on that without using cuss words. So I'll leave it at that. And you know, hopefully we're playing the Bears next week. That might be the first opportunity for them to maybe get a win. I'm not sure if they're playing them at home or where they're playing them, but I think the Bears might be a game that they can possibly get a win. But you know, they need to do it. They need to get a win soon. Otherwise, the fans are going to go a little restless, like some of them already have. So you know, it's one of those things where, and that's why they gave this guy a 6-year contract, is because they know it's going to take a little bit of a time to do a rebuild. So us as fans got to remain patient, which is not an easy thing when you've been patient for 50-some years.
Yeah.
And
Well, you were patient when they fired Caldwell, then you got impatient again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's with it, is there's just too fast on the turnover, and I think that's a good idea for them to keep this guy around for a while, at least to get through this
Yeah.
garbage period and see what they can do with a clean roster.
Yeah.
With it. But again, I could totally see this guy being like I said, I've told you earlier, if they get this team outside, I think, with Campbell, it'd be like a Ditka thing. I think the team would be a completely different team if this team was outside. I think they'd be much more tougher, much more grittier than what they are, because again, you get used to the air conditioning and, oh, it's nice and warm in here, especially during Thanksgiving, Yeah, it's nice in here. Oh, is the turkey done yet? That's on there. So I think, like I said, I think that would be a change in the attitude, but I know they're not going to take a wrecking ball to the Ford field house just yet.
No.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt them to go play outdoors, but whatever gets some wins on that damn.
Yeah.
I want some W's, man. I'm tired of being the
L's.
trash of the fucking division every year. So it's just like I said.
You lost some company down here, I think, with Chicago this year. So.
Yeah. It's just amazing to me, though. It's like. But I do, like I said, I do think having him be there 6 years is going to be really a good thing. Because I do think there's some light at the end of the tunnel, depending on what happens with the coaching staff and that. Because I really feel like they're going to lose some coaches if things start turning around for them. Because, I mean, they've already mentioned Deuce Staley's trying to get himself into a head coaching position. And, Dan Campbell said that when he hired him. And then,
No, I mean, there's names there, and then they've got the resume too with it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I could already see Brunell going somewhere.
Yeah.
I can already see the map of them getting dinged off of at least 5 or 6 coordinators within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. So it's going to really depend on, kind of what they bring in the coaching department to replace those guys. But I mean, I do have faith. I do have some faith in Campbell. I do think he's the right guy. He just seems like he has a nice pulse on the team, and he's not one of these guys that's like, I don't know who to compare him to, but some guy that's like, he's such a control freak that, he wants to be in charge of everything, so consequently nothing gets done.
Jerry Jones.
Exactly, Al Davis.
Yeah, I mean that type of. I mean, he's not one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll let my coordinators coordinate.
Yeah.
And I think that's more important than having some guy that thinks he knows everything.
Yeah.
Because then he's got his hand in too much, and so consequently things get missed.
Yeah.
So I just think, I do think the tunnel, there is some light at the end of it, I'm hoping. So anyway, we've wasted enough time on that team.
All right, well, given the fact that the Eagles don't play till tomorrow night, that only leaves one team left. And, honestly, there was only one football team on the field today, and that was the Broncos, with another solid performance, a 26-point outing. I don't know what their average is for points on this season, but
It's more than 17.
it's more than 17. Yeah, and wow, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, hell of a start. Unfortunately, we can't. Thing from last year's, we can't get rid of the injury bug. We lost 2 guards today. We lost Hamler. I don't know how long. Could be season ending. And from what I heard, everybody said it didn't look too pretty. It didn't look too pretty on the TV screen when it happened. But guys stepped up and took care of the Jets, just like the Patriots used to do in the AFC East as well. So it's pretty much the same old show. But yeah, five sacks today from the defense, held Wilson in check, and everybody else played solid. Williams did have a fumble on the 1-yard line, unfortunately, and it was kind of a good hit by the guy on the Jets, so I really don't blame him too much for it. So it could have been a little bit more worse than 26. It could have been in the 30s, but hey, we'll take
I blame him. God damn it.
We'll take a 26-0.
He's on my fantasy team. I could have used the points.
Yeah, I know, but 26-0 though is good for me. So now we'll see what we can do against the Ravens. So hopefully the Lions beat them up, and hopefully Mr. Brown still can't catch a damn ball, and we'll be in good shape for next week.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping the same thing, you know. But yeah, this was a pretty good showing from the Broncos. Kind of was expecting it. I haven't really been all that impressed with anything that I've seen from the Jets so far, and it kind of just continued the same trend from the first couple weeks. Zach Wilson went out there and struggled a bit, you know, and the Broncos just once they get ahead, you're just in tough territory. So, and you know, Jets definitely aren't the team that's going to come back from that. So,
no.
Yeah.
Not against that defense.
No. So, but yeah, good showing by the Broncos today.
Maybe if they would have had some help, you know, from the Denver quarterback throwing a pick or something like that.
That's normally what would happen in the last 5 years.
Yeah. So they usually,
pick or three.
Yeah, they usually dependent upon, you know, getting some help from the Denver offense.
Yeah.
But no, it was total dominant performance. We talked about it, you know, in the preview. None of us, I don't think, had it being too close of a game. But very positive things going on for the Broncos right now, man. I'm just impressed, really, by a lot of things. And like we talked about with the quarterback situation there, I think they got the right guy in there, man. And the team seems to be rallying around him. And he's not making mistakes, you know, not turning the ball over. And when you got a defense like they got, man, that's just going to lead to good things. And I don't see much changing going down the road until they hit Detroit.
It's true.
Know, when they get to Detroit, they might have a problem.
This is true.
Exactly.
Because by then, we may not be blowing games.
Yeah.
So, but no, honestly, I mean, I'm happy for Denver fans. You know, it's been nice to see a nice turnaround for that team thus far. Anyway, we all know things can change, but I mean, if they continue on this path and they keep relatively healthy, you know, they're going to be one tough son of a bitch to take out. So kudos to them. Kudos to the, you know, kudos to Fangio, really, you know, for allowing. You know, kudos to Fangio for, you know, like we just talked about, allow the coordinators to coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the offensive, you know, the offensive coordinator has done a nice job, and you know, they're just playing mistake-free football, which is what's leading to these wins. So with that defense and everything, it's great. So
yeah,
I'm really happy. I'm happy for you, Don. That's a nice thing, man. Mm-hmm. And someday we'll maybe know how that feels.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I got on this Broncos jersey because welcome me to the bandwagon, Mother Bob. I'm a believer in this team this year. I'll be honest with you, and you know, I said during the preview pretty much exactly what happened in this game. I said in the preview that there's no reason that they shouldn't beat this team by more than 20. I said that I wasn't guaranteeing a shutout, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I also said that they were going to cause a couple interceptions. There was going to be probably 2-3 thrown interceptions. That happened as well. The Broncos dominated the time of possession in this game, which, you know, kind of in some respects led to the Jets having a Broncos-ish performance from the last 5 years where the offense can't do anything and the defense was on the field all day. Yep. It's like, wow, you know, probably having some flashbacks. Good thing that they're in green and not orange. But anyway, you know, I mean, it basically was exactly what you're looking to see. And I've said probably in 3 videos, well, at least 2, that, you know, the mark of a team is not necessarily, you know, can you go out and take down the top dog? I mean, sure, it's nice when that happens, but can you take care of business when you're supposed to win these games? And so far, the Broncos have not just won these games, but they have pretty much not even had there be any question. And honestly, it's only building momentum. It's building comfort level. It's building team confidence, and it's really just got this team kind of banging on all cylinders right now. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not, when everything's rolling smoothly and you're rolling over these teams, it's easy to, jump on there and say, wow, this is great. And now, once we start getting into the kind of the meat of the schedule a little bit, we'll see what ends up happening. But, I truly believe that this is a team that was just waiting for that kick in the right direction. I mean, we've said on this show last year multiple times, and even during the off season and all the different stuff, that this was not a team that was miles away from contending or from being decent. They were only missing a few key elements. And this year, so far at least, they've found what they were missing last year. Special teams could still use some work. But at the end of the day, even with that being said, I mean, if they had a full roster of people, maybe that would help some. Injuries are never easy, but to this point, they've been able to deal with those, and the guys that have came in have pretty much filled the shoes without a problem. And so as a result, I think moving forward, this is a team that you're going to have to look out for. And like the announcer said, and like he said as well, is that if this is a situation where you get down behind by much more than a score against the Broncos this year, you're going to have a rough time of it. Because in the past, as alluded to, the quarterback for the Broncos is liable to get you back in the game. But right now, you've got a quarterback that is making plays with his feet. He's taking care of the ball. He's making plays with his feet and still taking care of the ball, which is also something that hasn't been done in the past. Because you've had guys scramble to try to make something happen, but then if there's no ball security, you might as well have just gone down for the sack. So, it's nice to see. I mean, I saw Bridgewater scramble out on a handful of plays today and slide and just do different things, get the yardage that he could, but not go for broke and try to, be Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson or something. I mean, he's just playing smart football. He's not turning the ball over. The running game had a blunder, like you said, on the 1 yard line, but that's going to happen once in a while. I mean, the best team ever had probably a couple turnovers at least. So, turnovers are going to happen, but at the end of the day, it's a lot easier to recover from a turnover when you're up by 20. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, welcome me to the bandwagon, because I'm a firm believer in this team. I'm not saying Super Bowl bound or anything. We'll see how it goes. But I truly believe that this is a team that is headed to the playoffs, and if they don't win the division, I think they'll make it in on a wild card, and I think they're going to be nasty for anybody to deal with, and if they can just try and stay healthy, I mean, really, that's the big X factor. I mean, it seems like every week they're losing. Not just, who is that? Oh, I think
they're going to 7 starters, I think now. Yeah,
exactly. It's not just like, is that the guy that came over from the Patriots, and before that he was on this team, and before, I mean, it's like, that's kind of a really, really important piece to our team here, and he's gone. But, I mean, when you're winning and you're seeing all these things come to fruition, and the defense has confidence that the offense is going to be able to perform at a high level and actually compete, and that it's not all on them, well, then, they're more apt to make up for that stuff. So, I mean, like I said, I'm a believer. I think that I think that Teddy is giving them what they desperately needed, and now we're going to see what the talent and stuff really looks like, because I think, they're, like I said, I mean, they're just doing things right now. And, I mean, again, the Jets, who is it that they faced the last couple of weeks? The Jets, the Jaguars, the Giants. Yeah. I mean, those are all games looking at this team that shouldn't even be in question. And for the most part, they weren't. So there you go. That's all you need to say for me to believe that this is not just a team that is going to flounder as soon as they play a real opponent. I think that they're going to compete all season long, and at the end of the day, they're going to be somebody to watch out for. I don't think you're just going to have them roll into town or roll into their town and just say, all right, we got a bye week. Who are we playing next? I mean, this is a team that you can easily lose to if you're not on your A game, and going to be a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks and stuff like that. So there you go. They're rolling. I believe in them.
Well, and he had the extra bonus of having the Chiefs lose today.
Hey, there you go.
There was a lot of nice losses today. Just we couldn't get the Ravens though. That was the one that was like,
Yeah.
But everything else has been nice, and we almost had the Raiders lose too, so that would have been great.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen either. So, but we'll see what happens. But as long as we keep taking care of business, just as long as I don't hear 3 and out anymore, every time we have the ball, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's on there. So.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's I'll take over those honors. Thank you very much.
I want to pass it on to you.
Yeah.
Bestowed it to you.
Yeah.
With grace, I accept that, wonderful honor, and look forward to watching it on my team this year.
Yeah, it's nice to see us just go right by 17.
Yeah.
Gone to the 20s and the 30s.
Yeah, and the opponents are the ones trying to get to 17.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
It's wonderful stuff. But anyways,
Shout out to Stafford and the Rams today. Huge victory for them. So happy to see this guy getting an opportunity where the pieces are in place for him to be able to have some success. And I think he's going to continue down this path. And I look for a lot of big things coming from the Rams for the rest of the season, barring injuries. But I mean, I think Stafford is in the right situation now. If you will look at these games and you look at the sideline, the only thing you see from the coach for the Rams is just smiles all day long.
Mhm.
I mean, just one smile after another. And I think he just looks at it like, man, he's got a guy that can get all the shit done. Not that Goff wasn't capable of it, but it's just different breed of quarterback altogether. And I'm happy for him because I wanted to see him flourish. I felt bad that Detroit pretty much wasted his abilities for the last 12 years, by not having a defense and a running game around him.
yeah.
So now that he's in that position, now he's knocking off the champs,
Mhm.
And I mean, it was a pretty dominant performance today. So anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. So, with that being said, guys, we only got one game left. We got the Eagles game tomorrow, taking on the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. That will be in its own separate video. And so, if you guys watch this one, make sure you stay tuned. Go check that one out. It's sure to be exciting, especially, another division game. First one of the year for the Eagles. And, if it's like the rest of the season, it's probably going to be a disappointment. So those are usually the videos you want to tune into. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you, like I said, check out that video tomorrow. But, we got weeks and weeks and weeks and seasons at this point worth of footage on here, and, just disappointments and pissed off and pain. So, go back and check those out. And support the channel. We got basketball, football, hockey, college football, all kinds of stuff on here, and we're having a blast doing it, and it's good to be back talking some football again. And yeah, so with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Bryson.
I'm Bennett.
I'm Steve.
and I'm done.
See you guys in the next video.